American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. The Supreme Court will decide whether President Trump's executive order blocking birthright citizenship is constitutional. Mike Emanuel has more.
The case involves whether the Trump administration can restrict birthright citizenship. The 9 justices will hear arguments about an executive order the president signed on his first day back in office, seeking to deny federal benefits such as passports to children born in the U.S. to illegal immigrants. The order was blocked by several judges who ruled that the 14th Amendment guarantees citizenship to almost everyone born in the U.S. Now it heads to the High Court. The president posting on Truth Social, quote, "Birthright citizenship has to do with the babies of slaves, not Chinese billionaires who have 56 kids, all of whom become American citizens."
Constitutional law attorney Mark Smith on the president attending the Supreme Court arguments.
It's a great idea. Look, he is the party, and if you're a party, you're totally entitled to go to court and observe the proceedings. So I think President Trump should attend today. He is the party here. He is the one that created this lawsuit, and thank God he did. It was his executive order that finally got this issue of birthright citizenship before the court, because as you know, Todd, the reality was up until now, there was nobody had standing to challenge this absurdity of basically anyone that comes to the United States and has a kid, they become an automatic American citizen.
Legal analysts are talking about the Childs decision at the U.S. Supreme Court yesterday, taking the muzzle off of Christian counselors and allowing them to help clients with unwanted same-sex attraction. Brad Dacus of Pacific Justice Institute says it's significant that there was only one dissent.
With an 8-1 decision, it's a slam dunk. It's a very raw decision where the rights of individuals who are Christians who want to provide faith-based Christian counseling is protected and cannot be banished by the likes of the state of Colorado. It's going to be applicable to all 50 states, immediately truncating laws like the one in Colorado. It's a big victory for freedom for all Americans.
When it comes to public schools today, many people find something to be missing. If you ask Dr. Frank Turek of Cross-Examined, that missing component is logic. Turek spoke last night at the University of Mississippi.
We don't teach logic in public school anymore. If we did, things would be a lot better. Instead of teaching kids what to think or how to think, we're teaching them what to feel. And that can be dangerous because if you follow your feelings without reason or without moral restraint, you're going to wind up in a very dark place.
Turek's message at Ole Miss was called, "I don't have enough faith to be an atheist." It's available for free on YouTube. A strong military and a strong economy are good for the United States, but we also need strong families. Chris Woodward has more.
Troy Miller of National Religious Broadcasters believes that our nation's strength is grounded in strong families. As we gear up to celebrate the nation's 250th birthday, Miller recommends that we do more to talk about families and values.
If you go back to, some of the, aspirations and the hopes that the Pilgrims had when they came over was all centered around their families. They were coming over because of some of the oppression in Europe to be able to live out the lives they wanted to and to their conscience, and came over with this great American experiment that was really founded on the fundamental base of the family, that the family was center to society and the core of a successful growing society.
In terms of why things have been on the decline, Miller points to several things, including the policies and laws of the U.S. He also mentioned the church and believers.
Churches have a lot of programs. We have youth programs. We have other things, but we really don't reinforce that the strength of the family is found in the mother and the father and holding families together, and that the responsibility for the family really lies in the home.
I'm Chris Woodward.
There's more online at afn.net and download the AFN mobile app for your Apple or Android device. I'm Rusty Pugh.
Every day, AFA offers biblical insight on issues that others aren't willing to touch in the hopes that you'll become a world changer. That's why we're offering an in-depth worldview training course called Activate. 13 different professors teaching 18 sessions, all available online, including a printed workbook to help you apply what you've learned and 1-year access to AFA streaming content to give you even more resources. Find out more about Activate and sign up today at activate.afa.net.
Welcome to Today's Issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Wildmon, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Today is Wednesday, and you know what day it is.
Well, I don't know. Some people don't.
Wednesday. April 1st, 2026. Have you got an April Fool's joke?
I'm not big into pranks.
Had you had one played on you?
I'm not good. I'm not a very creative person.
Right.
I'm good with sarcasm, but pranks, not so much.
Pranks, not so much. Wesley Wildmon joining us. Fred Jackson. Good morning, Fred.
Good morning to you.
And Chris Woodward.
I have a Bible verse to share on this day.
No joke?
No joke. No joke. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. There you go.
Hey.
That's right. So, and that is true.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Where's the Bible? Where's the Bible say that?
That would be Psalm 14, verse 1.
Okay. The fool says in his heart, there is no God.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, go ahead, Buzz.
Speaking about April Fools, I had forgotten that it was April Fools, and so when I woke up this morning, I went to my I got an app that it follows a variety of different news outlets and sports outlets and hunting outlets and all that. So I'm just scrolling, seeing what's new for the day.
Yeah.
And the first thing at the top of my feed was Brown O'Connor has officially been fired halfway through the season. Brown O'Connor's a Mississippi State baseball coach. For those who don't know, I follow Mississippi State baseball. They're having a great season.
Right.
And it said he was fired. I was like, what? Like, I thought maybe something outside of baseball. Surely not his performance.
You knew it was April 1st.
Well,
you had forgot it was April 1st, but you got fooled anyway.
I got fooled.
Fred, you ever got fooled big time on April 1?
Yeah, from time to time. You know, when I'm first waking up and somebody will say, hey, where I grew up in Canada, the harbor's full of ice this morning.
And I felt really bad.
Did you feel bad?
I did, because several people wrote me asking for more information, and so I felt like I did a news service.
I'm like Wesley. I'm terrible at pranks. I don't even like to do pranks or April Fool's
I start
jokes.
feeling bad for the person.
But, well, I
quickly.
always have a fear that I'm going to do a prank on somebody, and it's going to cause a panic, and momentary panic among that person, and they're going to have a heart attack and die. And then what do you tell their loved ones?
It was just a joke.
It was just a joke. You didn't know he had a heart condition? No, I didn't know he had a heart condition. I'm sorry. Yeah. April 1, it is, but back to your Bible verse there. Quote that one more time. Where's that from?
That is from Psalm 14, verse 1. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God.
How can you look around, Fred, at the world and nature and just all the design that God put into our making our bodies, for example, and say there is no God?
Oh, absolutely. My academic background is biology. Part of that is studying the cell structure. And what's wonderful about God's creation, as you bore down into a cell, it gets more complicated all the time. And how anybody can say there was not a designer to that is foolishness. When you look at the complexity of the human body, if you study how your eye works, it's absolutely amazing what goes on there. I often say to people, pick up a pen on the desk there and then explain to them everything that goes on, from your eye to your brain to the muscles, to the contraction of the muscles, to the release of the muscles, the enzymes that are involved, and it all takes place in 2 seconds. It's incredible. There's no machine that can do that.
Yeah. And that just happened by happenstance, Fred, over millions of years.
Yes.
One thing I've never heard answered from the evolutionist, the Darwinian evolutionist, that is that you have the Big Bang. I guess they would call it the Big Bang theory. I don't know if that's exactly synonymous with Darwinian evolution, but evolution is that everything came into being as it is today by millions of years of evolution, evolving. But I've never heard them answer this, and I don't know if I came up with this, but I never heard it before I came up with this. So credit me. Okay. And
Make a note.
That is this. Okay, forget humans for a minute. Let's take animals, for example. All right. Well, they say, well, this animal evolved, and okay. So in order to have a species, you have to have reproduction. True?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we're all here as a result of reproduction, human reproduction. So we all know how that happens, right?
Right.
No need to go into that, right?
I don't think we can.
Yeah.
Birds and bees and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, the point is, if you have to reproduce, you have to have a male and a female, despite what some people in our modern world say. Got to have a male and a female. So you're telling me then that every species or every animal, be it a dog, a lion, a giraffe, an ant, whatever, evolved as a part of the Big Bang with the male and the female side by side. You see what I'm saying? So just coincidentally, they all evolved starting back there side by side. The possibility that happened is zero. Okay, so then why is it so hard to believe that God Almighty created the heavens and the earth and the animal kingdom, like he talks about in the Bible, and the human race? Why is that by scientists considered mythological, Fred?
Yeah.
Any
Well, I think the bigger problem.
Take Genesis out of it for just a minute. Even though we believe in the count in Genesis, take that out of it. Why can't they believe in some supernatural being being responsible for the design of the universe?
I think a couple of reasons. Number one, I would say pride, because I can't understand a God who could simply say and create something. Because I can't understand it, therefore it's not true. Because I can't understand it.
But they can't prove it's not true.
No.
They can't prove it's not true, yeah.
They can't, but, they tried to rationalize a God, put God in a box. So, and you cannot do that.
But aren't most of them atheists? The Darwinian.
Yeah, but I don't have enough faith to be an atheist.
Right. Well, listen, good. I can understand agnosticism in the sense that somebody would say agnostics and atheists are different. Agnostics would say, I don't know whether there's a God or not. I don't know whether there's a supernatural force behind the universe or not. I'm open to discovery. I'm open to people teaching me. I'm open to education on the matter. But to say you're an atheist, where you would have to buy into the idea that all this we've just talked about is just here by happenstance, by chance, by evolution, by some Big Bang.
The Big Bang, yeah.
That's illogical, huh?
Yeah.
And they're the ones who claim to be logical.
That's right.
And scientific.
Yeah.
So, can we prove everything? As Bible believing Christians, we can't prove everything. But you have to, if you're going to use reason and logic, you have to say the human body and its design. If it's designed, and you can't look at it and say that it isn't, then something happened back way in time that came from a designer.
Right. Well, and also too, when I've been to the museum in Washington D.C., I can't remember the name of it. I think it was a national, had to do with animals.
It's natural history.
Natural history. I've been to that one, and I've also
Smithsonian Museum for Natural History. Yeah.
I've been to that one, and I've also been to the Creation Museum with Ken Ham. Obviously, two totally different worldviews, but having seen both, I don't understand how they can how when they describe when they're at the natural Museum of Natural Science History, I'm looking at their timeline of how apes evolved into people, and you're walking around. Well, how come that's not still true today? How come apes are not still evolving into people? You know what I mean? And they don't answer that. And if you take that worldview,
yeah. I mean, no, I know. Why isn't there? Why aren't we observing evolution today?
Right.
Of some kind.
Right. Exactly.
You know. Yeah. So anyway, so back to the Bible verse that we're using to the Bible verse again, Chris.
The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. Psalm 14:1.
Okay. You're listening to Today's Issues on American Family Radio. What's your first story?
Well, it's no April Fool's joke. President Trump is going to address the nation tonight on the war in Iran. This is a televised address that is supposed to begin at 8 p.m. Central. And again, we think he's going to address something with Iran, perhaps announce a timetable and celebrate the objectives that he says the U.S. and Israel have met there in striking Iran for the past few weeks. I've got a ton of sound here that we could play, but I think perhaps the best clip to really get an idea of where the Trump administration is today and how it views its campaign thus far in Iran is a piece of audio here from Secretary Marco Rubio, who says basically almost all of our goals in Iran have been met or will soon be. Clip 6.
We are going to destroy their Air Force. We have largely done that. We were going to destroy their Navy, which we have largely achieved that. We were going to destroy a significant percentage of their missile launchers. We are well on our way to achieving that. And we were going to wipe out their defense industrial base, meaning the factories that make the drones and the missiles. We are well on our way. We are on or ahead of schedule on each of those 4 objectives. And we can see the finish line. It's not today, it's not tomorrow, but it is coming.
Well, let's see. Okay, that's Marco Rubio. Secretary of State, talking about the war in Iran. President Trump, I don't have this audio, but I saw an article earlier this morning. This is from the Washington Post. President Trump said Wednesday, that's today, that Iran has begged the U.S. for a ceasefire, but Trump won't agree to stop bombing the regime, quote, back to the Stone Ages, end quote, until it opens the Strait of Hormuz. Quoting President Trump, Iran's new regime president, much less radicalized and far more intelligent than his predecessors, has just asked the United States of America for a ceasefire in all caps, Trump posted on Truth Social. We will consider, this is Trump again, when the Hormuz Strait is opened free and clear, we will consider the ceasefire, is what he's saying. When the Hormuz Strait is open, free and clear, until then we are blasting Iran into oblivion. Or as they say, back to the Stone Ages, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, he threatened. Fred, I'm not clear on, one day we're going to open up the Strait of Hormuz. The next day it's not our problem. I don't know what to believe anymore.
Well, I first of all, I find it rather interesting as to what Marco Rubio did not say. He defined success at 4 different points: destroying their Air Force, destroying their Navy, missile launchers, etc. I forget what number 4 was. What he didn't say was regime change. All right? That is a demand of Israel, because your leadership determines where your country is going. And the United States is now not talking about regime change anymore, of getting rid of the Islamic regime.
I don't think that's possible.
No. Israel wants that.
Yeah, they want it, but it's not possible.
No, it's not.
I don't think.
Now,
just from bombs from the air.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
The second part, and you kind of just alluded to it, 24 hours ago, President Trump was saying, who controls the Strait of Hormuz? That's not a priority. Now, it sounds like in Truth Social this morning, he's saying we're going to continue this war, even though they didn't call it a war, until there is safe passage in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, the Wall Street Journal is reporting this morning that the United Arab Emirates is willing to take on an offensive role In other words, join Israel, join the United States in basically attacking Iran. I'm assuming there are talks in the background that they want to give these Persian Gulf states, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Qatar, they want to hand over control or attempted control of the Strait of Hormuz to those countries because those countries benefit the most. President Trump in the last couple of days has said, Strait of Hormuz, we don't get much out of oil and gas out of that area anyway, so why are we worried about it? That's somebody else's problem.
Yeah, but Trump said something else this morning.
I know. I mean,
he gives very confusing messages.
He does.
I think he needs to leave it to Marco Rubio and go golf.
It's the purpose of the Secretary of State.
Trump. Listen, folks. I mean, as I said, I'm generally overall very supportive of President Trump, and I know how he operates, and you got to take how he, how he works things. But this morning he says, he Truth Social, Iran's new regime president. Well, who's that?
Yes.
And he says, much less radicalized and far more intelligent than his predecessors, has just asked the United States of America for a ceasefire. Well, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
Right there.
If it's true.
Well, then why did you just say that?
Huh?
You're a MAGA guy. Why? You're a Trump guy. Why did you just say that?
Well, for the same, you gave one illustration, but there's others where, in this 1 minute you get reports that we have decimated and just we've won, and the next minute you're hearing, or the next day or the day after, that they still have 60% of their missiles, but they can't fire them.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is I'm also seeing different reports. But before I go on about that,
by the way, President Trump is addressing the nation tonight, right?
At 8 o'clock Central.
A formal speech that he has to stick to the
script,
message,
yes.
right? Which would be good for him.
And I think, well, first of all, because we could go on the mixed messaging on both Trump and the media on what's going on in Iran over the last couple of weeks. But on a positive note, it is good timing in all of this, and I think it's much needed, especially for the conservative movement and MAGA movement, for him to do what he's going to do tonight and have a formal meeting where he's going to answer a lot of the questions that we all have that we're talking about right now.
Okay, is this a press conference, Fred, or is this a...
It's being described as an address, Oval Office address to the nation.
Okay.
So that's
not the same
reporters.
as a White House press conference.
That's right. So
yeah, I'm guessing 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
No reporters.
He may not take questions.
I think the big push right now, this is an election year. I think he's being told by Susie Wiles, his advisor, hey, listen, we got to do something. Oil prices driving people crazy. We have to get out of this war. And we have to come out saying, we accomplished the goals. That's why I think what Marco Rubio said yesterday is so important. Marco Rubio was defining success of this mission. The president tonight could come out and say, these 4 things, we've accomplished them. We've accomplished the goal, and it's time now to ease back.
Yeah.
Okay, one other thing, excuse me on this. Here's what, okay, President Trump said Wednesday that Iran has begged for U.S. for a ceasefire. Okay, when I read that, okay, then I hear Iran say, we don't know what he's talking about. We hadn't begged for squat. In fact, if they send their soldiers over here, we're gonna burn them alive. Okay, that doesn't sound like, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
So you just go like, I don't know what's.
That's why I said that's true.
Yeah, I don't think President Trump's approach of handling war,
foreign affairs,
fits his shoot from the hip personality.
Strength, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mentioned the other day in one of our meetings here at the office on this issue, and just said, out of all the things that Trump is really, really good at with his brashness, his
you notice?
cutting people off or whatever, or just the fake news and everything that that I really, really like about him does not work in this area of the presidency.
Yeah.
As far as being
going to war with the political left in this country, Trump's excellent at what he does and how he says it.
He's got a lot of common sense too.
Yeah,
absolutely. A lot of 80-20 issues.
Absolutely, but now
foreign affairs with being the president, being the commander in chief.
Yeah.
We've been kind of like.
Anyway, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, I really, let's all pray for the man to have wisdom and be clear and consistent here, because the last thing we need is for him to have a read my lips or mission accomplished moment. George Bush got hammered. H.W. Bush got hammered over the read my lips moment, and rightly so. George W. Bush, his son, had the mission accomplished thing during the early days of the Iraq War in Afghanistan. Obviously, the mission was not accomplished there. We were in Afghanistan for half my lifetime, and we have nothing to show for it. So whatever he announces tonight, he needs to be clear, and more importantly, they actually need to stick to it, because if we're still bombing somebody in Iran in July or September, and gas prices are still where they are, and food prices have not come down, the Democrats will run on that and win back the House.
Yeah. All right, you're listening to Today's Issues. So tonight, from the Oval Office, President Trump will speak, and maybe he'll tell us who Iran's new regime president is.
And I think we're going to wrap this up in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, probably so.
One other thing that's very interesting on this, and bless the heart of whoever scheduled this, in addition to this thing that the president's going to do tonight, the address, NASA at the same exact time is going to hold a news conference on the Artemis II launch. So you would think more people are going to be watching the leader of the free world than the NASA holding the first moon launch in a long time press conference. I don't know.
Well, that was probably already scheduled, and NASA may change that. That is a pretty interesting story about our NASA astronauts going on their mission coming up, launching, weather permits. They're going to launch. I was reading this earlier. Going to launch Wednesday.
7 and 8 o'clock tonight.
Yeah. Okay. So what's going to happen is, the story says America's headed back to the moon for the first time in more than 50 years this week, if all goes well, at NASA, Cape Canaveral. Man, I'd love to be down there watching that. But anyway, first the 4 astronauts have to go to the dark side of the moon on a perilous 10-day voyage. Did you guys know this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Tell us about it, Fred.
Well, tonight when they launch, they're going to go around the Earth several times.
Right.
And at some point, they will vector off that orbit and gain more speed and head towards the moon. And then they're going to go 7,000 miles roughly beyond the moon, do a U-turn, and come back. And all of this is in preparation for the next mission, which they say is aimed at setting up a moon base.
Yeah.
With a Buc-ee's.
That was good with Chris.
Beaver nuggets on the moon.
All right. For those who think a Buc-ee's is going on the moon, remember what day it is. Okay?
That's it.
Chris just punked you on April 1st.
It's not a Buc-ee's, it's a Dollar General.
Well, there'll be more than one Dollar General on the moon if we settle
and a billboard saying, "Call me now." Yeah.
Right. All right, we'll be back momentarily with more of Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Stay with us.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn, Don Wildmon.
In an automobile accident not long ago, a drunk ran into another automobile. The young father and mother and their infant child were killed. The couple were devoted Christians. The drunk walked away without a scratch. Why? Why does the man who was drunk walk away while the parents and child are buried? Why is it that the innocent suffer and the guilty go free? Why? You don't live long in this world until you face this fact, that the evil often prosper and the good often suffer. Experience from life has taught us that truth. But the big question is why? Why does this happen? I have 3 words I'd like to share. The first word is clarity. Clarity. Let's get clear what the Christian faith offers and what it doesn't offer. Evidently, there's much confusion at this point. It doesn't offer prosperity, material wealth, or riches. Neither does it offer exemption from suffering or pain. The cross is the eternal symbol that Christianity was born amid pain and suffering, even injustice. Becoming a Christian is no guarantee against pain, suffering, or even injustice. Too many people are looking for God to be their Superman, to don suit and cape and come dashing to their rescue when we beckon Him. And for some, if God won't be their Superman, they often turn their backs on Him. Let's be absolutely clear about this. The Christian faith does not promise us exemption from pain and suffering, nor does it promise us material wealth. Anyone coming into the fold believing that simply will not last long. Now, the second word is faithfulness. God doesn't necessarily expect us to worldly success or prosperity. God does expect us to be faithful. The evil often prosper because that's their primary desire, to prosper. The liquor store owner and the dope pusher makes a lot of money. That's their primary desire. They're not concerned about the welfare of their fellow man. Then, too, the good often suffer because it's their desire to be faithful. Surely the life of Paul has taught us this much. It's not the great desire in the heart of God that we miss pain and suffering. The great desire is that we overcome it, grow from it, and remain faithful through it. The third word is patience. God is patient, willing to take His time to work out His purpose. We would hurry things up, finish the job this afternoon. God can wait until tomorrow, or the next day, or the next. We would destroy the evil people. God would change them, and sometimes change takes a little longer than destruction. And be careful who you place in the evil category. At times it's hard for any of us to be exempt. Much of all of this we do not understand because we do not have the mental capacity to do so. 2 boys watched the parade go by. One watched through a knothole in the fence. The other watched from a tree above the fence. The one who watched from the knothole said it didn't make much sense. The one who watched from the tree said it was the grandest sight he'd ever seen. We see life through a knothole. God sees it from above the fence. The evil prosper, the good suffer. Why? I cannot fully answer the why, but I know from Calvary that the good will ultimately triumph.
This has been My Turn with Don Wildmon, a production of the American Family Association.
You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. Jeremiah 29:13.
American Family Radio. This is today's issues. Email your comments to comments@afr.net. Past broadcasts of today's issues are available for listening and viewing in the archive at afr.net. Now, back to more of today's issues.
Well, if you visit the United States Supreme Court building and you go in the chambers there, and the dossier, took me 20 years to learn how to pronounce that. Dossier, that is the person who gives the lecture on the history of the Supreme Court. They'll point out everything in the chambers, and then they'll point at a seat over on the side, and they'll say, this is reserved for the President of the United States, but they never come to any, but they never come to any Supreme Court hearing, but it's there if they ever want to use it. Well, guess what? Today, President Donald Trump is the first one to go and utilize that space, that chair at the Supreme Court, with all 9 justices present. I mean, this is a Supreme Court hearing on a big important case, and President Trump wanted to highlight that, so he went from 1,600. Come on, y'all guys, help me.
1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yes, Pennsylvania Avenue. Should know this. I played Monopoly.
I don't know the zip though.
I played Monopoly many times. Pennsylvania Avenue. So he went down to the Supreme Court, and they're having a hearing. Fred, what is this hearing about? What's going on here?
This has to do with his executive order on birthright citizenship. And what President Trump is challenging in that order is that someone who enters this country illegally and has a child in this country, President Trump is saying they should not get citizenship. Now, normally when a baby is born in this country, they automatically become a citizen. What President Trump does not like is that, thanks to Joe Biden, millions of illegal aliens have entered this country over the last 3-4 years, and President Trump is saying no. If they have a child after they come here, that child, because mom and dad are not American citizens, they entered this country illegally, therefore that baby should not be a citizen. To a more reduced extent, the case also apparently deals with, let's say, what do they call that? Tourism?
Oh, no, it's anchor babies.
Anchor babies. So China sends couples into the United States on vacation, and they start having babies here, and those people become American citizens. So
by virtue of having a baby here.
Having a baby here.
Yeah.
That is what's being argued at the Supreme Court today, and from what I've heard so far, and Rusty Pugh, our morning anchor, has been monitoring this too, he says this is, he thinks it's going to be a 7-2 decision, 8-1 decision possibly against the president on this. Because one of the questions that's come up already this morning over and over again, are you sure that this wouldn't be retroactive? In other words, you may have, going back years of illegal aliens having babies here, that all of a sudden all of those people who are now adults would not be citizens anymore. Now, the Solicitor General has said over and over again, no, we don't plan to have this retroactive. But he's run into a pretty tough wall of resistance on this issue of overturning what has been in place for a long time, despite what some people may say is a strong legal argument against birthright citizenship.
This could be a big ruling on the same level as like the Supreme Court shooting down FDR's New Deal stuff back in the day.
What do you think about this, Fred?
Birthright citizenship? Yeah. I don't think. I did a little research yesterday. Do you know European countries have a much tougher standard than we do?
And Australia.
On birthright?
Mm-hmm. What about Canada?
Canada is pretty loosey-goosey.
Okay.
Yeah. But none of the 27 members of the European Union, for example, reading from a story that we have now on AFN, grant automatic unconditional citizenship to children born on their territories to foreign citizens. A situation is similar across much of Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. So they have a stronger standard than we do when it comes to birthright.
Having been able to travel to different parts of the world, it's absolutely amazing that we're the only country I've ever been to that has the problem of illegal entry. No one else has that. No other country on planet Earth has millions of people illegally coming into their country like we do, especially like we did during the Biden era.
Illegally is the key. They're flooding Europe, but Europe is accepting them.
That's right. Yeah, illegally, and destroying just so much of our economy, our way, our culture, and everything, the problems that it's causing, and you don't see this anywhere else that is happening. So for me, it's like, I don't. If you're here illegally, you shouldn't get anything. I don't even a baby born here that shouldn't get birthright just because you're born here. I don't think so, but
yeah,
I'm pretty.
Okay. Well, Jenna Ellis is on with us. Jenna, I didn't realize. So she made it. Jenna, good morning to you.
I did. Are you shocked that
well,
I
didn't know
decided
for
to come
sure.
hang out with you guys?
Surprise!
Surprise! Yes.
I didn't know for sure. What do you think about this birthright? What do they? Do you? I'm just springing this on you. You may not have studied this, but you probably have a general idea. What are they arguing about up there at the Supreme Court today?
Yeah, I've actually extensively covered this on my show with a good friend of mine, Mike Donnelly, who's an attorney, and he's done a lot of really in-depth research in this. So I'd encourage people to go back and listen to those programs. And he's going to be on next week as well to break this down more. But basically, what the Supreme Court is reviewing is the section of the 14th Amendment that speaks to this, and basically that's been interpreted since a case called Wong Kim Ark, which was back in the 1800s in the context of Chinese immigrants, whether or not a child who is born to illegal immigrant parents becomes a citizen. Now, Kim Wong Ark was a little bit different in terms of the posture, so we don't actually have any precedent specifically on this particular issue, which is actually surprising that for the last 150 years since the 14th Amendment, we've just continued to assume that anyone who is just physically born here, regardless of the status of their parents and whether or not they're here legally, whether they're on visas, all kinds of things, that we just assume that being born on soil, and there's a Latin term for that as well, of course, because everything in law is Latin, then that means that somehow you are under the jurisdiction of the United States. And so this is an incredibly important case. And while I agree with Fred, it sounds like from what I've been able to listen to in the arguments, the Supreme Court is very, very hesitant to overturn years and years of precedent. They really should, because even if they say, okay, starting today, President Trump's executive order can take effect and we will no longer issue citizenship to children who are born to illegals. You have to have, here's all of the metrics and all of that. That would still at least prevent an ongoing problem with our Constitution. And so it's never that, well, this is a bridge too far, there's, too much water under the bridge, whatever metaphor you want to use. And so we're just going to continue to allow this, even if the text and the plain meaning as it would have been in the 1860s during the Reconstruction era when the 14th Amendment originated, that just means that we go along with it even if it has been misinterpreted. So I'm hopeful that maybe, just maybe, a majority of the Supreme Court justices will recognize that this is a problem. But this actually also, Tim, raises an even bigger issue about the Supreme Court's oligarchy as a whole. Because why are we, in the context of this case, the Colorado's conversion therapy ban law, which thankfully the Supreme Court struck down yesterday, that was a win. Why are we having all of the most important policy issues come down to 9 unelected rogue justices? That was never the intention of our constitutional republic. And we basically live under an oligarchy of 9 unelected rogue justices, one of whom can't even define what a woman is, right?
Well, now, why do you call them rogue, though?
Robed.
Oh,
R-O-B-E-D,
my bad. Okay.
Rogue. But some of them are rogue, too.
There's a big difference.
I mean, well, for some of them, not so much.
Well, I agree. Some of them are rogue,
too.
But
some
not
of
all
them are rogue.
of them. Yeah.
But this is why, instead of just arguing cases at the Supreme Court and instead of pleading with the justices to do the right thing, we need to go back to the process as it was designed. And this is why I'm an advocate. And I was talking this morning on my show about the Convention of States. And this is under Article 5 of the U.S. Constitution, the way that we've amended our Constitution 27 times in our nation's history. We can go back and amend things. We can go back and clean up the 14th Amendment if we want to. We can go back and repeal the 17th Amendment that allowed popular election of senators. That's why we have the Lindsey Grahams of the world running around Disney World with Little Mermaid bubble wands when he should be in Congress, right? I mean, these things that we've done to undermine from within the text of the Constitution through amendments, we can go back and change, and I think it is time that we should.
Okay, now so we can move on from this topic, but we're talking about there. I'm torn on this. Ed's usually here to play the liberal, and so I'll let people pile on him. I'm torn on this. I understand exactly what you're saying and what Wesley was talking about, and the anchor baby thing is an abuse of our system. It's an abuse of our system. That is, women get pregnant and want to come to America because they know if they have the baby inside on the soil of the United States of America, that baby's a United States citizen, and then they can stay, right? Because they're the mother of the baby. See how this works? It's an abuse of the system, but nonetheless, it happens that way. On the other hand, here's the liberal. I don't know if you call it liberal, but it's my heart's torn on this one, and that is, it's not the fault of the baby that their parents, or in most cases just their mother, did this. And so they are a baby, a child without a country, right? Because we've said you're not American, so you need to go back to wherever your mom came from.
Yeah.
And why not?
Well, because that's like I said, I'm torn. I'm not saying you're wrong, Jenna. I mean, I don't know, but I'm on a human level. I'm going like, that's not the fault. The baby was born in America, and isn't it true that historically we've accepted all people who've been born on our soil as U.S. citizens? Is that right?
Historically, not completely. No, I mean there have been. Prior to the 14th Amendment, and even prior to the Wong Kim Ark case, which was really the first impression of this issue, it wasn't just an immediate understanding. I mean, even in the context of the Chinese immigrants, who and a lot of whom were here legally, there wasn't this basic assumption that just because you were physically present in the United States during the time of your birth, then that means that your sovereignty and under the jurisdiction means the United States. I mean, it'd be the same thing as if I'm pregnant, I go over to France for vacation and happen to have a baby early. Does that mean that now my baby is somehow French just because I'm there?
I agree. Anyway, so you're listening to today's issue, Wesley. You are gathering your breath and thoughts, and you wanted to fire.
I was trying not to interrupt you.
You wanted to fire off something while I was talking there, so you just go right ahead.
Just fire away.
Fire away.
Well, where I'm at is that for 20 years I have seen patriotism become an evil thing. People hate, and the people within our country, the liberal media, hate our country. I've seen illegal immigrants and crime come across the borders by the millions. I've seen our country trying to be destroyed at every angle. So it has forced someone like me to be as far right as you can and still try to be within bounds. But I just don't have any tolerance or any patience. I don't have the same sympathy that you have for the baby that was born here because of where we've become in our country in the name of being sympathetic.
Okay.
So,
that's a good Christian approach there.
And I can justify.
That's to love your neighbor. I understand.
But it is. I mean, in all honesty, though, that is the left's humanitarian argument, where they say, well, you're supposed to be the pro-life community, and what about, you're just pro-birth, and now you just want to kick out all of these babies. There is also a time and place for a civil government, and humanitarianism and pulling on your heartstrings and all of those things.
Yeah, you have to have law and order. You have to have law and order. You do, and law and order sometimes is hard and tough, and it goes against your heartstrings.
I would add, Chris. I would add that Democrats are not pro-immigrants; they're pro-immigrants voting for them. And that's why they don't.
They don't believe in borders. Many of them will just tell you straight up.
They don't give a lick about these people. They care about these people voting them in.
Yeah.
And it's been that way for my lifetime.
Not a lick.
Huh?
I hadn't heard that one in a minute. Not a lick.
Chris, what did you say, not a lick?
They don't give a lick.
Yeah, don't give a lick.
They don't give a rip. I mean, I could keep going.
I was mentioning these European Union countries.
Yeah.
They follow, most countries follow the principle of right of blood. with a child's citizenship based on the citizenship of their parents, no matter where they are born.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, you have an illegal immigrant from Honduras. I'm sorry, even though that baby may be born.
The child is Honduran.
Yeah, the child will be Honduran.
Well, to your point, so I've always understood it for years that Ted Cruz was born in Canada to Americans. And because he was born in Canada to Americans, he's American. So he was born with a country, even though he wasn't born physically in the United States. That's a lot of paraphrase stuff.
My wife is American citizen, born here in Mississippi. We met at Bible school. We moved to Canada. Our girls were both born in Canada. They hold dual citizenship.
Okay.
Because their mom is an American citizen.
Gotcha.
So they hold dual, even though they were born in Canada.
Mm-hmm. Well, the President of the United States is, I don't know if he's left the building as Elvis did, but he has been at the Supreme Court building. We were talking about this. How many times has a president been to the Supreme Court to watch a hearing?
First time. This is first time. So President Trump made history today because while presidents certainly can come and certainly have contested various cases at the U.S. Supreme Court, this is the first time that he actually chose to go and sit. And I'm wondering if the process was probably really fascinating to him. And I think it's actually really wonderful that he went and participated in that.
Do you think?
I know what you're going to say, Fred.
Do you think? When in his mind, because Peter Ducey was asked him the question, "You're actually going to?" Yeah, I think I'll go. I want to go. Do you think it was? I'm going to intimidate this bunch up there. These robed judges by my presence. He thinks he could intimidate
He's doing
them.
like this thing,
and the stare down with Chief Justice Roberts.
I think that when he sees the future after his presidency, he wants to be a lawyer. He has the temperament, does he not?
He can articulate those arguments well.
Yes.
His briefs would be the best, the biggest, the most beautiful briefs in the world.
Yes, and everything would be a clean whatever. Now, actually, we've had one president go on to serve on the Supreme Court. That was William Howard Taft of Ohio. So Trump being the first president to be reelected.
You think there's a future there on the bench?
It's possible. We could. Hey, listen. Whether it's President Vance or Rubio or somebody in a couple of years, there would be a precedent for a president to nominate another Supreme Court justice.
Trump would last 5 minutes.
Can you imagine those opinions? Everything would be in all caps, and it would have exclamation points.
Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, I don't know if you were listening to me, Jenna, but if you go in the Supreme Court for a lecture, just as a tour, for the general public, you can go in there, sit down, and they'll give you a lecture about the history of the Supreme Court. And they've always pointed at a chair, and they say, this is reserved for the President of the United States, but they never come. And so I guess somebody did some dusting and some polishing up, because for the first time in 200 years, well, that building hadn't been there that long. It's been there about 100 years, I think, close to it. Anyway, all right, Jenna, tell us about what's coming up tomorrow on Jenna Ellis in the Morning, and about your podcast, your weekly podcast.
Yeah. So tomorrow morning on the live show, Congressman Marlin Stutzman will be on giving us an update on what is going on with the Save America Act and all of the other things going on in Congress. And then also have Florida's CFO, Blaise Ingoglia, who will be on because he's been doing a lot of press conferences around the state of Florida, basically doing the Florida version of Doge, which every state needs to do. I mean, the amount of waste that he has uncovered is incredible. I mean, just in one county alone, they spent, I think it was somewhere close to something like $2 million counting trees.
Yeah.
I mean, just
I
things
remember
that
that
are
discussion. Yeah.
And just things that, are totally unnecessary and absurd and obviously overinflated. And Florida right now is looking at property tax exemptions and some of those other things. And so he's basically saying, look, if we just stopped wasting all this money, we could save taxpayers a lot. And I think that model needs to be for every state, especially Florida and New York. But,
All right.
we'll see where we get on that one.
By the way, I have the word from the Fox News website. President Donald Trump departed the Supreme Court after listening to more than an hour
good for him.
of oral arguments regarding the executive order blocking his birthright citizenship for children
like
of
4
illegal
holes of
aliens.
golf right there.
Oh yeah, that's right. But give him credit. He sat there for more than an hour and listened to the oral arguments there at the Supreme Court.
He probably left when the ACLU lawyer came up.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
But that might have been one of the first times that somebody's actually left mid-argument, too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
He's
a
the
little...
president of firsts. Donald first Trump.
Maybe they took a break.
Do you
Who
suppose
knows?
he put up his hand? Chief Justice, can I be dismissed?
Objection! You can't handle the truth.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, thank you,
Probably.
Jenna. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Good to
Okay.
talk to you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Wasn't it his
Jenna
address? Wasn't President Trump's address to the nation? Wasn't that also the longest speech ever? And I think he knew that.
The State of the Union.
I'm sorry.
The most recent state.
The most recent State of the Union. He needed just a couple minutes, or.
I tell you what they need to do, though.
You see the dots I'm connecting here. He just needs somebody to say, "Do you want to be the first?" And he's like,
Oh yeah, the first to go to the Supreme Court.
He's
First
going to the
president.
moon.
Yeah, and he'll be the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he can make history, he's gonna.
Hey, I don't know. Somebody needs to do a scientific study on the on Trump's DNA because he's going to be 80 in. I'm not saying that there aren't 80-year-olds with they're very active and mentally sharp, but to be 80 years, nearing 80, I think he's 80 in June, and to keep the schedule that he keeps as President of the United States, just physically demanding schedule, and then also to have to consume all the information that you have to, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, it's remarkable that you have you have somebody, regardless of whether you agree with his politics or not. I'm talking about his ability to have the stamina, the wherewithal, and the mental faculties to carry out the duties that the presidency requires.
Right. Fun fact, Donald Trump's birthday is June 14th, which happens to be the same day as Flag Day. So, I mean, he's a man of trivia.
I wonder if he'll point that out.
He probably already has.
Okay. So anyway, President Trump has left the building.
All right.
All right, we got a minute to go here.
Let me say this real quick. I had the privilege of covering for AFN Frank Turek's visit at Ole Miss last night. Frank did a I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist event at the University of Mississippi, a.k.a. Ole Miss, and he talked about a number of things, including the resurrection. It was a very timely topic, given what we're about to hear from Frank in clip 15.
The best evidence shows literally that the resurrection took place April 5th, 33 A.D. This Sunday is April 5th, 2026. That's 1,993 years ago. It just so happens it lines up this year.
That can be found on the Cross-Examine YouTube channel, and I'll have more on that later today on AFN.
Was that Frank Turek or Wolfman Jack?
That was Frank Turek. It was Frank. I can verify because I saw him with my own two eyes.
Okay. Maybe we'll play some more from Frank after the news timeout.
Okay.
Steve Paisley Jordahl will join us. Chris, thank you for your contributions today.
You.
And Wesley and Fred and yours truly will be back in a moment with more of today's issues.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.
Where can you access instruction and inspiration from scholars, apologists, authors, preachers, and activists to deepen your Christian understanding? You could enroll in seminary, but a better way might be the AFA Cultural Institute. You'll find a collection of more than 50 informative inspirational video lectures with more to come. Visit stream.afa.net to experience the AFA Cultural Institute.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. The Supreme Court is hearing oral arguments about whether President Trump can restrict birthright citizenship through an executive order. U.S. Solicitor General John Sauer argues the 14th Amendment was only meant to apply to those who had an allegiance to the country.
The clause thus does not extend citizenship to the children of temporary visa holders or illegal aliens. Unlike the newly freed slaves, those visitors lack direct and immediate allegiance to the United States.
The Trump administration is arguing illegal aliens do not have allegiance to the U.S., and so, like enemies of the U.S. or ambassadors, their children should not automatically get citizenship. Chief Justice John Roberts questions whether that comparison holds up.
I'm not quite sure how you can get to that big group from such tiny and sort of idiosyncratic examples.
Debate over funding for DHS has stalled again as lawmakers are on a 2-week recess, though airport lines have improved after TSA workers started receiving paychecks again. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says he wants ICE agents to remain at airports to help until staffing returns to normal.
Tom Homan, Mark Wayne Mullen is smart to say, we're going to use every resource we have to make sure that every American system works as well as possible. We're not a third world nation.
About 500 TSA officers have quit since the partial shutdown began, and it could take months to train their replacements. A journalist from the United States was captured while in Baghdad. Greg Palcott has the latest.
An American journalist was kidnapped Tuesday in Baghdad, and Iraqi security forces are seeking her captors, officials say. The reporter was identified as freelancer Shelley Kittleson by the Al Monitor Mideast news site, one of the outlets she works for. A U.S. official blamed an Iran-backed Iraqi militia. Authorities say 2 cars were involved in the kidnapping. One crashed while being chased southwest of Baghdad. The journalist was then transferred to a second car. While Kittleson has filed frequently from the region, she was not on assignment at the time. The State Department said it had warned her of threats and is working for her release. In London, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
A bill that would criminalize so-called hate speech has passed the House of Commons and headed to the Canadian Senate for a vote. It removes protections for religious speech, meaning if a pastor preaches on biblical sexuality, for example, he could go to prison. Steve Jordahl reports.
Bill C-9, known as the Combating Hate Act, cancels an existing religious protection that allows for opinions based on a religious text. It's the latest assault on religious freedom in Canada, a battle that has seen Calgary pastor Artur Pawlowski in prison several times over the years, including during the COVID pandemic. He spoke this week to Canadian pastors and had a sobering message for them.
For me, it's, regular day in the office, if you will, but you should be worried. Because if you are not trained to fight, to stand, you're going to cave just like you did during the COVID era. 99.9% of the churches closed, pastors caved in, they broke, they panicked, they were terrified. Courage is almost unheard of in our Canadian churches.
Pawlowski sees Bill C-9 as another opportunity for Canadian churches to rise to the occasion.
Now we have a second test. And that test, I pray and I hope that the church will pass, because if we will not, some more tests are coming.
He says he has his doubts as to whether the Canadian church will pass this test. He has no doubt about his response.
I want you to know I have absolutely no intention of stopping what I'm doing. I'll preach the whole Bible from the Genesis to the Revelations. I will not bend my knee to the golden image of Nebuchadnezzar.
I'm Steve Jordahl.
And finally, a crane malfunction in Illinois leaves 1 worker dead.
Police in Carroll Stream in west suburban Chicago say a 55-year-old worker at Specialty Rolled Metals was lifting a giant spool of metal onto a flatbed truck Tuesday when the overhead crane that he was using somehow broke. The giant metal roll came down on top of the worker, who we're told later died of his injuries. Police are investigating the death as non-criminal. OSHA is also conducting a separate investigation. That employee has not been identified. In Chicago, Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
For American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh.
If we lose this cultural war, we're going to have a hedonistic, humanistic society.
Discover the story of the culture warrior Don Wildmon and how he went head-to-head with Hollywood, Playboy, the homosexual agenda, and the Disney empire. The movement Don started paved the way for Christians to boldly stand for truth and righteousness in a hostile culture. Watch Culture Warrior today for free. Visit culturewarrior.movie.
Today's Issues continues on AFR with your host, Tim Wildmon, president of the American Family Association.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to today's issues on the American Family Radio Network. We got 24 and a half more minutes to go on today's April the 1st, 2026 edition. Hope you haven't been fooled.
Like I did this morning.
Fred Jackson's here. Steve Paisley Jordan.
Good morning, everybody.
And Wesley Wildmon. Wesley, what were you saying? You got
remember
fooled.
I got
You got
fooled
punked.
I got punked.
It's April 1st.
My heart dropped early in the morning.
Yeah, I'll just tell people real quick. Wesley is a huge Mississippi State baseball fan.
That's right.
Right, because we have to suffer.
And other sports.
During football and basketball,
yes.
we just take our beatings.
That's right.
And we get ready for baseball season.
That's right.
As MSU Bulldog fans.
That's right.
And they're having a great season.
The
coach is Brian Connor.
That's right.
And you woke up to somebody.
Well, I woke up and I rolled over and was doing my news feed scrolling
right,
this morning, and the first thing I saw was Brian O'Connor had been fired halfway through the season. I was like, "What? Right?
When did you realize you'd been punked?
Well, I clicked on it, and then right below there's a comment that said April Fools. I was like, "Oh, I'm done."
Yeah, you wanted
for the day. I'm not looking at any more news.
There was nobody you could.
Not looking at any more news the rest of the day.
Okay.
Because I don't want to get punked again.
All right. Yeah. So anyway, that wasn't true. It was a joke.
That's right.
And your coach is safe there.
That's right.
Now we have some young men who are in studio with us for a reason. Tell us what's going on here, Wesley.
Well, my son and a couple of his friends are doing a what are y'all calling it? The visit. Go ahead, here, let me introduce them, and then they can tell you a little bit about what they're doing. Give your first name, and then we'll go around.
Chandler, Bennett, Sawyer, Carter.
All right.
Are y'all all American citizens?
Yes, sir.
Because we've been talking about that. None of you, huh? All of you are?
And okay. no April Fools, right?
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So what is it, Bennett, that y'all are doing today?
It's called Tupelo Day, and we go around to like local places to Tupelo, and we learn about like the history of Tupelo and like Elvis and all that stuff.
Well, let me ask you this: do you have an excuse to be out of school today? Then, right?
Yeah.
All right. And what is one of the places you're looking forward to going to?
Ooh, we're gonna eat at Johnny's today. I can't wait.
He said he's going to eat at Johnny's. Is that right?
Johnny's Drive-In.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's a local, well-known establishment.
So then, next question for Carter. Carter, are you more likely about not being in class or actually getting to visit Tupelo?
50-50 both.
50-50. All right, Chandler, and what? Go ahead.
No, Chandler, go ahead. I was going to say last but not least.
Yeah, last but not least. Chandler, the what? Wait, so Chandler, what are you going to get at Johnny's?
I don't know. I know.
All right. Well, we had I knew that they were going to be visiting Tupelo today, and they made one of their stops was here at our headquarters here at AFA in Tupelo, and I wanted them to be able to come in, see how things work, and
what it is for those who don't know, so they're from a local Christian school, and one day a year they have a Tupelo Day because the school's located in Tupelo, and they're told they could take a day off, get in their car, their van, and go around the city and see the sites that have history and tradition. And one of them's here.
That's right.
At AFA and AFR. Mm-hmm. You know, there's not another town in America that I know of has a radio network of 170 stations, other than maybe New York or Los Angeles or somewhere like that. Mm-hmm. So anyway, all right, young guys, appreciate you coming by.
Y'all give me a high five.
And enjoy your what do they call it? A dough burger? What do they call it over there? Dion? I think, dough burger? At Johnny's Drive-In. If you look up Johnny's Drive-In, it's a pretty historic place here for people in the Tupelo area. All right.
And because we're a Christian ministry, right before they walk out, they want to share their Bible verse with us.
Okay. Got four boys here. They're each going to share.
You want to do it? All right. Bennett's going to share their Bible verse with us for the day.
My favorite verse is Joshua 1:9. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9.
I like that.
Thank you, buddy.
I love that.
And Carter has a verse.
Ephesians 6, verse 7. Serve wholeheartedly as you are serving the Lord, not people.
Amen.
Amen.
All
right.
Either other ones? No.
All right.
You got the same. Right? So he stole yours then.
Yeah. No,
that's
really,
that's in the Bible not to steal.
Stealing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
And we talked about that in our first segment. We talked about the creation and evolution in our first segment. So that was good timing. All right, y'all have a wonderful
guys.
day. See y'all.
All right, four young future leaders of America right there. joining us in studio. One of them is Wesley's son, Bennett, and they're here. They're having fun with their moms being out of the classroom today, traveling around the city that we live in here. You're listening to Today's Issues on American Family Radio. Tim, Wesley, Fred, and now Steve. Good morning, Steve. How you doing?
This is a hard day for me. It's a hard day because every day now for the last couple of years, you've had to look at every single news story and say, is this real or is this AI? Is this a joke or is it? And today, everybody's got free reign to go. So I have no idea. I've got 3 or 4 stories. They might all be wrong. They might all be false. No, I don't think so.
We don't. It's April Fool's.
But you never know.
Yeah.
It's hard. So today's a hard day.
Yeah. Hey, it is.
Professionally.
It is getting. Yeah, it's a tough world out there to. You know, you even wonder when somebody sends you a text, is this really that person?
I know.
It's gotten crazy.
Or phone calls.
Huh?
Yeah.
Or phone calls. They say they're so-and-so, but I don't know, you know. So, all right, go ahead, Steve.
All right. I would like to introduce everybody to a state representative in Michigan. Her name is Karen Whitsitt. And Karen Whitsitt is stepping away from politics. I found some audio of her explaining this, but it was one of these things with sound music underneath that was, frankly, very annoying. So I have spared us all of the audio, but this is what she says. She says she's quitting the Democrat Party because her Christian faith no longer aligns with the Democrat Party after years of clashes. They're pro-abortion, pro-transgender, and she is pro-life and pro-biblical sexuality. And so she's out in Michigan. This is what she says. I don't understand how Christian and Bible go together with Democrat Party. What I've seen over the last 4 years is nothing that I've ever seen before, nothing that I ever thought would happen before. For me, it is impossible to be a faithful follower of Jesus Christ while remaining a member of the Democrat Party as it exists today. I cannot reconcile the platform with Scripture, she says.
Well, listen, as the saying goes, God is not a Republican or a Democrat. That's kind of used sometimes by people on our side so that they can avoid getting involved in politics. But God does have moral standards that are often reflected in public policy, i.e. laws. And so, listen, Republicans and Democrats are all sinners, according to the Bible.
Yes.
In other words, we're all human beings, and I'm not saying historically,
parties change,
parties
platforms,
change,
their positions change.
But I think what she's talking about is
the
Democrat Party as it is constituted today, at least on they are for abortion on demand,
all the way through,
all the way through pregnancy. Most of them are, and the Bible says that killing an unborn baby is murder. It's sinful. It's immoral. So, and human life is at the top of the list of things that we should defend, right? So people might say, where does it say that? Well, if a life begins at conception. If it doesn't begin at conception, tell me where it does begin. Because if you have a baby at conception, if it's not terminated, that's the reason they love that word, are killed or stopped from growing, it will become a baby and it will become a full-grown human being. Anyway, I think that's what she's talking about, and they are pushing LGBT and trans issues down our throats.
She says, I'm not a co-signer of crazy.
Yeah, and not beyond that stuff.
The wokeness.
All the allowing millions of people to. They're just they seem to be the lefties are against law and order, and against the Constitution and against our country's values. So I think that's what she's saying.
Remember back more than 10 years ago when the Democrats were opened their convention, and one of the things they voted on party platform. They wanted God, the mention of God, out of their platform, and they passed that. And that, to me, was a firm signal that they were willing to state publicly, we want nothing to do with God in the platform of our party.
Oh yeah, that did happen.
That's right, and they booed.
They did. They booed.
Yes.
Audibly booed.
Yeah.
They booed God.
Yeah. So I think that's what she's saying.
That was a big turning point.
Being a Christian, she's saying, as a Democrat,
in general elections,
no longer compatible.
Within the last couple of weeks, I had an interview with Alex McFarland, the host of Exploring the Word here, and he has said the exact same thing. He said, you cannot be a Democrat, loyal to the Democrat agenda and be a Christian at the same time, is what he said.
And that's even more accurate, or it's even perhaps choosing the word agenda too is even better because that explains the movement of the Democratic Party.
All right, next story.
All right, I had a fight with ChatGPT over the weekend.
You got it. Can't wait to hear this one.
Oh,
was
man.
this like an MMA fight? What is this?
It was. It said something that was wrong. This is connected to a story. There is a paper out that has said that ChatGPT, I think I have the title of this thing, Sycophantic Chatbots Calls Delusional Spiraling. I'm sorry. So that your ChatGPT is causing what they're calling delusional spiraling. It agrees with you, and then it's programmed not to tell you the truth, but to agree with you, to make you feel good. So it will tell you things that aren't true, and it'll make you believe them because it wants to please you. It doesn't want to inform you. And so my argument with ChatGPT over the weekend, they had a stat about the tallest basketball player. There's a guy that's 7'7" playing somewhere in the NCAAs. And I went to school with a basketball player that was 7'8". So I asked it, what's the tallest player ever to play in college basketball? And it said 7'7". So I said, George Bell was his name, and he played in the NAIA. And, good catch is what ChatGPT told me. It's overlooked, and he said that he was 7'8". He played at Biola University at the NAIA in the late 2000s. No, he played in the early 1980s. So I said he played in the early 1980s, and you're mixing up eras there. George Bell was not in the 1980s. I'm reading. So it said if you're wrong. I said George Bell played for Biola University in 1982. Well, it said, I see why you would be confusing, but that specific detail is not correct. George Bell did not, in bold letters, play college basketball in 1982. I went to Biola's, I said, you're wrong. I attended college with him in 1982. I hear you, but the factual record that's available from college athletic history says you're wrong. And I said, I went to the Biola athletic page. I went to the Biola athletic page and brought down the page that showed him in 1982, and then ChatGPT tells me, you're absolutely right, and thank you for the source. That clears it up like there had been some misunderstanding. So be careful what you do with AI. It is not your friend.
I have to just say this. I've had a hard time. I just can't do it.
ChatGPT?
I can't talk to anything that's not a person. It just feels weird.
It is kind of.
And you know your brother does that, right?
He does it. My brother's on the other end of this. I'll tell you how far I go on this. I don't even talk to Siri. It's just
I don't either.
It's a
but
weird.
Your brother, he does something. He picks up the phone.
Yes.
Talking about Walker, he picks up the phone and he brings it close to his mouth, and he says so and so, so and so, so and so. Usually it's a question. And then he has it within like a second or two.
Yeah,
some kind of
no
answer.
more than a second.
Yeah,
and they tell me you can do that rather than type in.
That's right.
Is that Fred? Will you do that, Fred?
No,
people have been having Alexia and Siri for years.
Yeah, I would. Right now, I mean, if I just do a Google search on something, I was trying to find the pronunciation of someone this morning.
Too.
Well, this is what's happening now. That you're getting a partial response, it says, from AI.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you like it or not, you're probably involved with AI at some point.
Yeah, I would like you, Steve. AI is and it serves. I mean, but a good purpose. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. But I'm talking about with the computers. But you just need to be careful because not everything, as you found out, is accurate. What they say.
It cares more about pleasing you than it does telling you the truth. Here's the question I have for
y'all. So it's emotional.
Yeah. Do you guys say thank you and please to your AI chatbot?
I still don't talk about it.
I don't. I'm like Wesley. I don't do this.
It was the oddness. I just can't get past talking to something that's not a human, and expecting them to just care. They're like, you read these stories about these teenagers having.
I'm with you most part, but I do talk to my golf ball.
Okay.
I do talk to my golf ball, and it's anyway. It can get emotional.
Yeah, it can. But it never. But the golf ball never talks back though.
No. It does talk back in its own way.
Yes, but not using words.
No, it like runs away from me. Like I can't find it. That's the way it communicates.
Yeah.
Find
Go
me.
to the green. Go to the green.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe one day I'll break and I'll just start talking to devices and expecting them to talk back to me.
They will talk back. Just take it with a grain of salt.
But
some people think you're being listened to, Fred.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You do? You think we're being listened to like right now on our phones?
Smartphones? Oh, they're picking up the conversation.
Y'all are spooking me out here.
No. I've been reading up on a particular theological issue. And all of a sudden, I've been reading up, and I talked to my wife, I found this out. All of a sudden, I start getting videos on Instagram on that topic. Mm-hmm. Now, I had not used. That's the way it's going on.
That happened to you, Steve?
Oh yes.
My wife tells. Yes, they're listening all the time.
Yeah, Heather was telling me she wanted to buy some shoes. I want to get some shoes. I like them from this place or that other place and everything. And sure enough, shoe ads started coming up on my phone.
Yes.
Now, come on, guys.
No.
How is this even possible?
It's true.
But would you say...
You believe in this stuff, Wesley?
With this, I'm going to do this, and I'll be quiet because we can do this for the next 8 minutes. But I'll say this. What I have studied, what I have read on this topic is that they do track what you search and repeat that. But as far as listening in... I'm 50-50. I've heard some good explanations.
You mean like there would be like a human listening into your
right.
There would be no reason to do that unless you're a spy.
That's right. Well, unless you're an ad.
There's nobody pushing a button.
Maybe a computer's listening.
A computer is listening, and it will feed you what you're talking about.
So I've read some very compelling articles that would affirm what they're saying. I've also read some pretty compelling articles that said that you think it's the listening, but it's really the search engine, which both could be true.
I didn't do a search engine.
I didn't do a search.
Yeah,
I just was talking about it.
Yep.
So Dad's gonna go throw his phone.
So I need to just turn my phone off unless I don't want to be heard.
Actually, in all seriousness, let me say this: I would go to your phone settings, and I would go to the part where it says you can eliminate all tracking. And I would cut the tracking off. I wouldn't allow any apps to track you. I wouldn't allow the internet to track you.
Turn off the spy on me button.
Yeah, spy. Yeah, that one. Right.
All right, I got an iPhone. What are you talking about here?
Let me see.
Yeah, see if Sue's tracking me. I don't want to be tracked.
The hunter is turning off the tracking. No, I'm more.
I've already got that.
You already got that off. You're good.
Yeah, because I gave it to. When I got my new iPhone a year and a half ago, I gave it to a person like y'all who's like a paranoid person, like cover your camera type guy.
Yeah.
And
that one right there.
And he I said, what's the safest way to be on here to not be tracked?
That's it.
And he set that setting there. Mm-hmm. But you can set it on your iPhone.
Yep.
That's not the same thing as not being listened to, by the way.
And in order not to be listened to, when you get through with the program, you just go upstairs and you just put this.
I tell you what I'll do. Hold on just a minute. Siri, how do I make you not listen to me? What kind of answer will come back?
Hey Siri, are you listening to me all the time? It says, I respect your privacy and only listen when you're talking to me. You can learn about Apple's approach to privacy at apple.com. How come when I talk about buying shoes, all of a sudden shoe ads start showing up on my Facebook page?
Steve's talking to the computer.
I am.
In case you want to know.
Reminders. Oh, shoot. It went away. It said buying shoes. It had a reminder about how to buy shoes.
There you go. Well, listen, you know what? There is the, I call it the spooky side of that kind of thing, where you're being surveilled.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also straight up commercialism,
That's
money
right.
making,
Sure.
where
Geo-tracking.
these internet people know what, because of your
It's called geo-tracking.
they know what you've signed up for or what you've searched for,
Your
so
email.
that they're going to send me they're going to send me all of a sudden I'm going to be reading the news and there's going to be, hey, you need to play at this beautiful golf course. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Sign up for your trip right now.
Yeah.
And so that kind of thing goes on. But that's just target marketing, so to speak.
Which is why you tell your spouse, do not use your email.
Oh yeah, don't give them my email.
Cause now I get clothes and shoes and
email advertisements.
Because Chelsea's my wife's used my
that is a sit down.
That is a couch
meeting and say you use your own email
or
if you want to,
or a fake one,
Give them a fake, but don't give them my
That's
email.
right.
I don't need to be bombarded with all that. What do you got?
All right. Costco is selling a 10-pound chocolate bunny for $140. You could buy a 10-pound chocolate bunny. It has 151 servings, and this is what it says in the instructions. It says shoppers can either smash the bunny by wrapping it in a towel and giving it, quote, one bold whack with a hammer or a mallet or rolling pin, or you can slice it up using a warm serrated bread knife. That's on the packaging. So if you want a 10-pound bunny, Costco has your Easter candy for you right there.
How much is it? Is this all chocolate?
So it's not solid. It's hollow, but it is 10 pounds of chocolate and
$140.
Yeah. Look how big it is. There's a picture there. You can see there's a lady standing behind it.
Oh, good grief! That's huge.
$140 chocolate bunny.
You said how 10 pounds?
Wow. 10 pounds. So
It's a lot. It's milk chocolate.
I understand it's produced by a consortium of dentists.
Yes, no doubt.
Good one, Fred. Well, it is Easter week, and even people who aren't Christians, do things like this. But Easter week is here, and or Holy Week, as some people call it. Some people call it Passion Week. So
is that a bunny on your screen?
A bunny? Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, right.
Bunny.
Hey,
chocolate bunnies are popping up on my internet search here. I don't know what's going on. So you think people are listening to me there, Steve?
I know they are.
Okay.
Hey, a note on Easter. This is a great weekend to invite a friend or a neighbor that wouldn't otherwise likely attend church.
That's right.
To go to church with you this weekend.
I would guilt trip them even if you asked to. Just say, listen, you want to come to Easter?
Or you just,
especially if you know they don't go to church.
Yeah.
Say it's Easter, and don't you want to come?
Yeah.
On Easter.
That wasn't good enough. That wasn't a really good guilt trip. That was a fair.
A lot of people will go to church on Christmas and Easter who won't go any other time of the year.
Call them CEO Christians.
And I'm not talking. I'm not talking to be
Easter
a smart aleck about it. I'm talking to be genuinely asking people who don't. Hey, you want to join us at our? Go to church with us on Easter. I would stress Easter Sunday.
That's right. That's right.
Then you're saying God is watching.
That's right.
Okay.
Hey, look around. Be willing to give up your seat if it gets full and sit in the back.
That's a step too far. Because if you want to get your seat, you get there early like everybody else.
That's right. That's right.
Or late. In our case, sometimes. All right, I'm just teasing about that. All right, folks, have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow.